it will be a violation of the rights of citizens if citizens are compelled to answer or to assist in their own prosecution. You're not supposed to be assisting in your own prosecution. My understanding of the law, and of course you should understand that I'm not a lawyer, my understanding of the law is that even spouses cannot be compelled to give evidence against their partners, in criminal proceedings and so on. So we need to understand that very clearly. Now, this is not to say that Mr. Ofori-Atta is an angel and that no action should be taken against him. Who am I? What do I know? Mr. Ofori-Atta was Minister of Finance for 8 years. Within those 8 years, he demonstrated his immense power. Even when the majority of his own party MPs had decided that it was no good for the job, he continued staying there for a very long time. When he had to be removed as Minister of Finance, he was given a position which was the envy of many people and so on. That's a demonstration of his influence and power and so on. Now, if he had that influence and that power, and many decisions were taken, including the contraction of loans under circumstances which were not all pleasing and so on, he may have questions to answer. But I'm saying that if he has questions to answer, let's use the proper procedure and so on to get him to answer those questions. Now, the crux of the matter is that Mr. Ofori-Atta was invited by the Office of Special Prosecution and he did not show up. On the grounds of ill health, his lawyers produced some kind of a document indicated that he was under medical investigation. The OSP on the face of the document was not satisfied that that was a clear testimony of ill health. So what do? Mr. Ofori-Atta and his lawyers can provide better documents. You understand? Better documents, verifiable documents, which show that he's ill. And indeed, if he's not well, he cannot be compelled to travel and to come back to the country. So it's just a question of producing better documents about his health, which were not produced in the first instance. Now, this morning, I read a transcription of an interview with Neat FM by Mr. Gary Nimaku. I hope I got the name.
Yes,
right.
Gary Nimaku.
Yeah. Who is supposed to be one of the leaders of the legal teams of the new.
In fact, he's the head of their legal team.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And he makes the point that the NPP press conference of the matter was rushed. And that if he had been consulted, he would not have advised the NPP to hold that press conference. He was saying that that press conference was hurried, it was immature, and so on. That's a leading member of the New Patriotic Party, indeed, head of the legal department of the party who is speaking. And he thought that the whole press conference amounted to political grandstanding. You understand? These are strong words. Strong words. Now, I think that there's no Ghanaian worthy of that title, the title Ghanaian, who would oppose investigations into malfeasance, who would have objections to setting the record straight as far as the governance of this country is concerned. I mean, if you become a minister, you take an oath. You have to abide by that oath. You understand? If you become a member of parliament, you take an oath. Sure. And you have to abide by that oath. As we sit here, this country is in very deep crisis. I mean, this morning, all three of us were talking about the state of the cocoa industry. It is frightening. We have a situation where for the first time, cocoa production has gone down by more than 50%. For the first time, the Cocoa Marketing Board could not even secure, the syndicated loan for the purchases of cocoa and so on. very frightening situation in the cocoa sector, which is supposed to be one of the mainstays of the national economy. But elsewhere, I mean, I'm hearing about state corporations whose level of indebtedness exceeds 300 million and so on. Frightening. Those who took us to this point must explain to us, they must answer, serious questions. And if they are found to have acted criminally, leading to this mess, we have to hold them accountable. So it's a question of balancing the principle, the legal and constitutional principles and so on, and also the duty of the state to exact justice and the duty of individuals to account for their stewardship. It's a tricky balance, but we have to balance it well. And in the balancing, it should not lead to the violation of individual rights. That's all my point. Sure. I have a very strong view on the Office of Special Prosecutor.
What is it?
We have arrived here because of a conspiracy between the National Democratic Congress and the New Patriotic Party. It is their conspiratorial behavior which has brought us here. If you take the 1992 Constitution, it is clear that the power to prosecute is vested in the Attorney General.
Absolutely.
Absolutely vested in the Attorney General. To be able to take that power from the Attorney General, or part of that power from the Attorney General, you need a constitutional amendment.
Yes.
We didn't go by way of a constitutional amendment to create the Office of Special Prosecutor. What we did was to go to Parliament and enact an act. Why did we do so? We did so because the NPP wanted the Office of Special Prosecutor established so badly because it thought that it could make political capital out of it, and so on. That's what they thought. The NDC, on the other hand, did not want to oppose the establishment of the office so as to look bad, so as to look at people who were afraid of accounting for their stewardship and so on. So the compromise was to establish this Office of Special Prosecutor, give it powers that the Constitution vests in another authority, and so on. And this is the mess we have created for ourselves. Political convenience is what has led us here. In any case, what was the main argument about creating the Office of Special Prosecution? The main argument was that, look, the Attorney General sits in cabinet, and therefore, if he was to prosecute or pursue, cases against people from other political parties and so on, it may be seen to be politically biased or under the influence of the president.
Yeah.
But this contraption we created, the special prosecutor is still appointed by the president.
So did we go or did we come?
We haven't solved any problem. We've just created another layer, and for me, it doesn't make sense at all.
And interestingly, because to add to what you just said, I've also heard, for instance, members of the NPP say the NDC is behind this. Is behind what the Office of the Special Prosecutor is doing. I mean, so it's just to buttress the point you're making.
How can the NDC be behind this special prosecutor?
Yeah.
How is that possible?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
For anybody to suggest that even remotely, the National Democratic Congress is pushing the
to go after Ken.
Yes. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Maybe if we had.
I also think that. Okay, so I mean, siding with you in a way, that's my opinion. It's difficult for, even though we are saying that the OSP should be independent, but it will be difficult for the OSP to take certain major decisions without recourse to the Attorney General.
Right.
It will be difficult. I'm telling you, because the OSP derives his power from that of the Attorney General, as captured in Article 88 of the Constitution. So, for me, there is that communication between the OSP and the Attorney General.
So did we go or did we come? If the OSP cannot take it,
we went and came.
If the OSP cannot take independent decisions and they still reliant on the attorney
because this was a very
then why did we create
this was a very
the office in
mischief
the
say
first
we're going to
place?
cure. And now we're back to square one. You know, anyway.
Maybe the original intent.
But more seriously,
yes,
I don't think that anybody has been able to provide any evidence that in this matter there was collaboration between the OSP and the Attorney General.
That's
There's
true.
no evidence.
That's true.
It's just pure speculation.
That's true.
With no grounds at all.
I didn't say have evidence.
You say you suspect.
But I'm saying that per the linkage between the two offices, there might be that kind of, you know what I mean, behind the scenes.
But you've just said exactly what you're saying. This is pure suspicion and just an opinion you're expressing. There's no evidence to it. So maybe if we had a more powerful and a more impactful council of state members, perhaps we wouldn't have even gone ahead to create an office of the special prosecutor. So it brings back really what the role of the Council of State is, and we're going to delve into that.